I very quickly thought of fiber optic cabling because I just thought that was going to get pretty exciting pretty quickly. Because, yeah, so it technically can be made out of plastic, but most of the time it's glass. I couldn't get like a good firm number on like what percentage or whatever, but
I think glass is like better than plastic.
It is, yeah. So for the most part, like definitely like the equivalent of highways for our like fiber optic networks are definitely glass.
Yeah, I know specifically the ones under the ocean are fiber optic.
Yes, yeah, those are 100% fiber optic.
I think the plastic ones are mainly like short range.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was seeing. But so you might have like some like internal networks that still kind of work, but for the most part, we'll get to the consequences. But sort of just quickly, like the way that fiber optic cable works is actually kind of cool. Basically, there's two like there's like a core and then a cladding that like surrounds the core that are both glass, and the core has effectively a higher like density to light. They call it the refractive index. So because the refractive index is higher in the core, when it hits the lower like density glass, that's the cladding, it won't pass through it, and instead reflects and stays all inside the core, which is what they call total internal reflection, which is kind of why it works, because none of the light can like leak out. So basically what that index shows is just how fast light moves through it. So the fiber, the fiber that's in the core of one of these cables, it has an index of like 1.4475. It's like doped silica. I couldn't get, so basically the basic idea is that the way you get that number is it's the speed of light in a vacuum divided by the speed of light in that medium. So where the speed of light in general is what, like 300,000 kilometers a second?
I have no idea.
Sure, I think that's it. It's like 200.
3 times 10 to the 8th kilometers per second is the number.
It's C.
Yeah, that's the letter, not the number.
Yeah, that's...
Go watch some fucking Sesame Street, Chris.
Listen to the count. Optical fiber, it's like 207,000 kilometers a second. So like 2/3. So it turns out that, so apparently a very popular like middle school science project is determining the refraction index of Jello. But in spite of that, I couldn't actually find hard numbers for it. All I could find were a bunch of like middle schoolers' reports on what they found it to be.
So what, did you just average them?
It seemed like it was about like 1.3 to 1.4 most of the time. Which, yes, that means that light actually moves faster through Jello than the glass they use in fiber optic cables.
More efficient.
So, technically, if it all turned to Jello, the communication would actually be faster than when it was glass.
So there's going to be a small problem.
There are a couple of small problems.
Well, you can stop me if you heard about this one. So one fun fact I learned about the fiber optic cables in the ocean is that sharks like to bite them.
I did not hear that, but that's hilarious.
So they suspect it might be because of like the electromagnetic waves coming out of it, because sharks are sensitive to those. And how much more are sharks going to want to bite them if they're full of delicious, delicious Jello?
It's like a jelly donut. That's great.
Except when you bite into it, the internet goes away.
Right.
For everyone.
The other fun thing I realized is that, so I was thinking that there's no way that you could actually like use Jello as a fiber optic cable at all. Fun fact. Turns out you actually can.
Oh.
So if you just line up Jello like on a table and shine a laser through it, it will get total internal reflection because the refraction index of the Jello is higher than that of air. So the light will carry all the way through just the Jello.
What?
Awesome.
So this is where I'm thinking, wait a minute, hold on. Could we actually just be using Jello this whole time? But the problem is it actually would not work. And I was very sad because it goes back to that cladding that surrounds the core, because you need those two different densities of glass, because otherwise you don't have the lower on the outside, and it's just all going to be Jello in there inside whatever insulation is around it, so it won't actually work.
What if there are differently dense Jellos?
Yeah, what if you have Jello and Jello shots, like Jello mixed with vodka? That's got to be slightly different densities.
I mean, you can like add additives to make it less dense.
I think it's just all going to mix together, though, guys. I'm sorry. I tried to make it work. Also, the other kind of issue that I ran into was that a lot of times the cables have multiple fibers inside of them. And those are all just going to melt into one giant Jello fiber, and that's not going to work very well. So the Jello internet and, telephone and TV dream unfortunately died but it lasted longer than I expected it to.
We're not entering the Jello age.
Yeah.
I definitely can relate to moments in the show where you're like, oh, let me just explore this stupid idea for 2 minutes, and then you're like, 5 Wikipedia articles in, you're like, wait, is this
This could actually
work?
But no.